What if there was a sound so cursed, so ancient, that it could never be unheard? A bell, silenced for centuries, not forgotten, but sealed away to keep it from waking. What if it rang again? Not by hand, not by accident, but by fate. Today, I'll tell you a story no one has ever told you before, about Velmont, a village swallowed by time, and a priest who awakened what should have stayed buried. There is a place, long erased from maps, hidden deep in the Ardennes forest in northern France. The villagers once called it Velmont, a place smothered in fog, untouched by time or kings. Travelers who entered rarely returned. Those who did spoke of bells that rang through the mist, bells no one could see. From a distance, Velmont seemed suspended in time, a hushed fragment of the forgotten past. At its center stood a towering black stone church, older than even the moss-covered gravestones nearby. 12 bronze bells hung in the tower, each bearing the name of a saint, but the elders whispered of a 13th, a bell that had been cast in silence, then sealed away. They warned that if it ever rang again, its call would be answered not by man, but by something far older and far worse. In the year 1473, Father Sylvan, a newly ordained priest, arrived in Velmont. While exploring the church's underground library, he stumbled upon a crumbling Latin manuscript. Its ink had faded, but one line still burned red. Clavum maledictionis, tertia decima, sonum inferni. The cursed clapper, the 13th, the sound of hell. Sylvan believed its superstition until he found the box. Hidden beneath the altar, sealed in blood-red symbols, was a rusted iron box dot. It was ice-cold to the touch, as though it hadn't belonged to this world in centuries. Inside lay a shard of blackened metal. Light bent oddly around it, and Sylvan felt an unseen presence. He brought it to the only man in Velmont who might understand its nature. Grigor, the village blacksmith, had been blind since birth, but when his fingers touched the shard, he recoiled. This was not born of fire, he whispered. This came from blood, and blood will claim it back. Still, something about the metal compelled him. Against his own warnings, he agreed to forge it. For 13 nights, Grigor worked in silence. Each hammer strike echoed like thunder, and the flames turned an unnatural crimson, casting twisted shadows across the forge. When it was done, the clapper pulsed faintly, as if breathing. Grigor handed it to Sylvan and warned, "Do not hang it. Not until after the blood moon. If you do, it will awaken." But Sylvan was no longer listening. Ambition or obsession clouded his faith. The very night the storm struck, under a sky lit by a crimson moon, Sylvan climbed the tower. Lightning carved through the clouds. Rain lashed the stones. Still, he climbed, clutching the clapper like a relic. He mounted it. The clapper hung still and silent. Then it swung taut. No rope, no hand, just the sound, deep, metallic, and hungry. 13 strikes. The last echoed across the land. Then came darkness. The candle seller girl vanished first. All that remained was her lit candle, burning in the middle of the street. From that night on, the village changed. Every day, someone disappeared. No screams, no signs of struggle. Just absence. But always, something was left behind. A burning wick, a flicker of flame, a single glowing ember. Velmont grew quieter. Then came the crows, black, silent and watchful. They perched on rooftops, unmoving, staring at the bell tower. Every 13 hours, the cursed bell rang again. No one pulled the rope. No one dared to look up. The villagers began to believe the crows were no longer just birds. Garan, the tower's keeper. He locked himself inside and wrote everything he remembered, but not with ink. He used his own blood, smearing words onto parchment with trembling hands. When he finished, he tied the bell rope around his neck and rang it once more. 3 centuries later, explorers rediscovered the ruins of Velmont. There were no bones, no graves, just moss, stone, and silence. In the collapsed bell tower, they found a single journal, barely legible. One line remained clear, scrawled in dried blood across the final page. Never hang the 13th clapper. It still listens.